Well, okay. Shalom, shalom to you all out there. Shalom. Especially to the Most High's one-third hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom to you all out there. Alright, so first and foremost, let's start this off by giving all honor, thanks, praise, and glory to our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, which is the Most High, and His Son Christ, and who this world foolishly and ignorantly calls Jesus. Secondly, much love and support to all of the brothers and sisters out there that's of this faith, that's doing the work wholeheartedly and diligently, no matter if you're part of a camp or not, no matter if you're new to this faith or not, as long as you continue to help push this biblical truth with all faith and sincerity to all of our people out there with eyes to see, ears to hear, and a mind to understand, preferably towards the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminoles of Negro descent. Once again, it's your brother Yahweh Yasharaf and the seed souls of Israel, the rocks of offense, and also the ambassadors for righteousness. Once again, dropping you another video. So, brothers and sisters, what this video is going to be about is concerning how a lot of our people are going through hardships, man. Right? A lot of our people are really going through it. And a lot of people really don't know about this. It's because they diligently don't search these things out, man. It's not like it's shown all over the internet or it's shown all over the nightly news, man. These are the things that you diligently have to search and seek out, man. And what prompted me to do this video is that the Most High God of the Bible, man, the God, the creator of all things, He will protect His people, man, right? And the reason why I say His people and the reason why God will protect His people is because His people are the ones that's being persecuted and oppressed all over the world, man, all throughout the four corners of the world, right? And if you want the Most High to protect you, there's a stipulation to that. You have to keep the laws, statutes, the commandments of the Most High, man, right? That's what the Most High require His people to do, which is of the 12 tribes of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negro descent. You have to come back to keeping the ways of the Most High if you want the Most High to protect you while His judgments is now in the earth, right? So another reason why I say that is because, like I was saying before, if you diligently search these things out, that's not shown on the nightly news. Whatever you choose to use as your search engine, right? You can use Google, you can use Bing or what have you, YouTube, whatever. Just go in there and search for it, man. You know, type in something that's like evictions in the year of 2022 or 2021, or foreclosures on homes, or people cars being repossessed, or people losing their jobs and stuff like that, man. People falling sick to the so-called solution, right? Just search it out, man. And you'll come to find that a lot of people is going through it. But it's mainly our people, right? And it's unfortunate, but of course, if you're familiar with the scriptures, you would understand that the Most High, He is sifting His people like corn and wheat, man, right? But of course, a lot of our people don't understand that. It's because, unfortunately, they don't read the scriptures. They don't understand the scriptures. They don't understand the Most High's judgments according to the book of Jeremiah and Isaiah, right? So a lot of our people are going through it, and they don't even understand why. You know, they're being judged, and they don't even understand why. It's because they're in the midst of sin, in which the Most High hate, and He's judging them. Okay, His judgments is in the earth. And in order for the Most High to protect you through all of this right here, you have to come back to keeping the law, statutes, the commandments of the Most High if you're of the nation of the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? So that's the reason why I say shalom and shalom to the hopeful one-third elect. You know, because the hopeful one-third elect is actually diligently seeking the Most High by keeping His ways and keeping His commandments, man. All right, so if you want to be a part of that fold, that's what you have to do if you're of the nation of the 12 tribes of Ishmael, man. You have to come back to keep the ways of the Most High. You can't call on the Most High and expect Him to help you and save you out of your calamity and your tribulation that you're going through if you're in the midst of sin, man. Right? That's the reason why people are getting foreclosed on from their homes. They're getting evicted from their apartments, right? The cars are being repossessed, okay? They're losing their jobs, right? They can barely keep the lights on in their house, okay? They have to choose between paying mortgage, rent, or putting food in a refrigerator, right? And all of this is because the Most High's judgments is in the world on our people, man. And our people don't understand that, right? So I got a couple of scriptures that I want to bring out concerning that matter to let our people know, man, that we have to repent and come back to keeping the ways of the Most High. if you want to be protected throughout his judgments in the earth, right? And it's something simple that we can do, man. The Most High says his laws isn't grievous, right? But a lot of our people think his laws are grievous, and it's really not that much, and it's really not that hard to keep, right? But then again, they choose to keep their oppressors' laws and commands, right? And it's like 30 or 40,000 different laws that your oppressor put on you to keep on a daily basis, man. And you do it willingly and wholeheartedly. But when it comes to keeping the laws of your God, you don't even want to do that, man. And the Most High plainly states in the scriptures that his laws isn't grievous. You can do these laws, man. Right? Now, there are certain laws that we may not be able to do according to the first coming of Hamashiach. You know, he did away with the blood sacrificial law because he was the ultimate sacrifice for us, man. And for the laws that we can't keep in this captivity, that's the reason why we have Christ. You know, that's the reason why he gave us the grace, because he understood that we're not going to be able to keep all of the laws in the captivity. But the laws that we're able to do, we should be able to do it, man, if we're able to do it, right? So that's the reason why we say we can't keep all of the laws, because there's certain laws that was done away with, you know, just like the laws that's punish you by death if you're caught in the midst of that sin. We can't do that law here because we're in our captivity. You know, we can't draw out our own law and do that and actually go kill someone. That's because they're committing that sin that's worthy of death, right? Or any other blood sacrifices. You know, we can't do those laws because, just like I said, Christ did away with the blood sacrifices. So those are the laws that we can't keep, man. But the laws that we can keep, and the commandments, right, which is keeping the Sabbath day holy, you know, keeping the dietary law, right, wearing your fringes, rehearsing the righteous acts, right, you know, keeping the ordinances, you know, like your 7 high holy days in their seasons, right, acknowledging the new moon, you know, as a starter of your time of the beginning of the month, right? These are the things that you can do, man. Blow your shofar, you know, light your incense like I'm doing right now, right? These are the laws that you can keep, man. These is what's pleasing to the Most High, right? This is something as simple as that. You mean to tell me that you can't keep this law, right? Giving him a sweet savior, a burnt sacrifice, man, right? You know, these are the minor things that we can do, man. This laws is not grievous for our people to do, man, right? But a lot of our people choose not to do these things, and this is the reason why he is sifting our people like wheat and corn, right? So we're going to get right into it, man. And the first one that I want to go to. Okay, let me set my phone up here. Hopefully that you guys can hear me. Okay, the first one that I want to go to is in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13. Okay, let me see if I can move this over here out of the way. Okay, we're in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, and I'm going to start at verse 8, and it reads as follows. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Most High Power, 2/3 therein shall be cut off and die, all right? But the third shall be left therein, okay, which is the 1/3, okay? Verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. Okay, so that's the purification process, all right? This is what you called going through the fire, all right? This is Hamashiach's baptism. You know, he's baptizing us with fire, putting us through the fire, which is the trials and tribulations of the sin of the world. Okay, he's purifying us from the world, purifying us from the sins of the world, the customs of the world. Okay, Verse 9 again from the top. It's a matter of fact, just to prove what I'm saying to you. As the scripture says, right? Show and prove, right? This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13. False prophets will be judged, right? Verses 8 through 9. Okay. And it reads, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, okay, which is the land of the world, okay, the whole entire world, right? Saith the Most High Power, 2/3 therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein, verse 9. And I will bring the third through the fire. Slakia, the way the camera's angled, I can't even read it, right? Because I'm sort of reading through the phone. And will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, okay, the ones who's calling, or the name of the Most High, okay? What's the name of the Most High? As it shows here. This is the name of the Most High, according to the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, right? Yahweh, okay? That's the name of the Most High, from right to left, okay? They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people. Okay, so only the ones that's calling on the one and only true name of the Most High, not according to the names that's given to you in religious churchianity or the false names that we've been given all of our lives coming up, right? They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Most High Power is my God, okay? Which is the Most High is my power, my Elohim, all right? So only the ones that's keeping the ways of the Most High and calling on this one and only true name are the ones that's going to be saved and delivered out of these calamities that the Most High is bringing upon the earth, man. All right. So that's in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, once again. Now, this is the King James Version of the Bible. So, if you have another transliteration of the scriptures, right, it'll probably read different. But, this is according to how the King James Bible text is written, right? So we're going to go to the book of Amos, chapter 9. Okay, so we're in the book of Amos, chapter 9. So I can make sure this phone is okay, so y'all can hear me. All right, we're in the book of Amos, chapter 9. And I'm going to start at verse 8. And it reads, behold, the eyes of the Most High Power are upon the sinful kingdom. Okay, what's the sinful kingdom? Any kingdom that's within this world that's committing all of the abominations before the Most High's eyes, right? You have this kingdom here. You have so-called modern day Israel in the Middle East, okay? You have the UK, all right? Any other nation that's within this world that's committing all of the abominations, that's worshiping false idol gods and false deities, mainly the nations of the world that's causing the nation of Israel to sin, okay? So all of those nations are considered sinful kingdoms, right? Behold, the eyes of the Most High Power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from the face of the earth, saying that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Most High Power. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among the nations. Like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. So just like I was saying before, you know, he's going to utterly destroy other nations, which are deemed sinful kingdoms. But he's not going to utterly destroy the house of Jacob, which is Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negro descent, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? So he's not going to utterly destroy all of Israel, meaning, just like I just brought out in the book of Zechariah chapter 13, there's a 2/3 and there's a 1/3. The 2/3 are the unrepentants. Those are the ones that's still in the world. They're still following the customs of the world, okay, breaking all of the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, especially the 10 commandments, all right? You know, chasing the bag, putting their careers over the Most High, putting their lust of the flesh over the Most High, right? Their desires, okay? Keeping the customs of the world, keeping Easter, all right? Keeping Memorial Day, Mardi Gras, Cinco de Mayo, okay? 4th of July, so-called Independence Day, in which our people were still in hardcore chattel slavery, by the way, right? So these are what the 2/3 are doing within the house of Israel, right? So that's the reason why he says he's not going to utterly destroy Jacob, okay? As it says here again, I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Most High Power. Verse 9, for lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel, meaning he's going to command us to keep the commandments, right? And he's going to sift us to see who's the ones that's sincerely calling on him and following his ways and who are not, right? Like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Verse 10, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. Okay, what is the sword? It's symbolic and metaphorical for destruction. Okay, or it can be metaphorical for a literal destroying object, right? Verse 10 again from the top. All the sinners, okay, who is the sinners? Those are the transgressors, the ones who's not keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High Power, right? All the sinners of my people, okay, my people, which is a possessive word, right, shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us, all right? So our people, this is what they're saying, man. The ones who's in the midst of sin, they're saying that there's going to be no evil that's going to come upon them, because as long as they, follow their own mind, go off their own strength without relying on the Most High Power, which is your one and only true power, the God of the Bible, the creator of all things, you cast them behind you and say that you're going to rely on your own strength, rely on your own wits, so there's no evil going to come upon me, right? But this is what the Most High says again in verse 10. All the sinners, okay, of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us, all right? So the Most High is clear there, man. All of the sinners, which is the 2/3, according to the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, will be destroyed from the nation of Israel, man. All right? So the reason why I stress and say how the Most High will only protect his people is because of the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32. That's what tells me so, right? So a lot of people in this world like to say, oh, well, God protects all people. He's going to give all people salvation and protect them, right? But that's not true, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, the Most High Power, according to the scripture, he does as he pleases, right? And he use whoever he chooses to use, right? But there's a difference between having salvation and mercy. Now, the Most High can show you mercy if you're of the other nations, but there's a catch to that too. He will only show you mercy if you're showing his people mercy, right? But if you're oppressing the hell out of his people, right? You suppressing them and oppressing them, okay? You're ridiculing them, mocking them, okay? You're blaspheming their God, which is the God of the Bible, the creator of all things. Then the Most High is not going to bless you, man. He's not going to show you no mercy. This is why his judgments is especially particularly on this country here. That's the reason why you see all of these wildfires going on, all of these tornadoes, these hurricanes, okay, all of these extensive snowstorms. All right, Colorado was just hit with like what? I think like a foot and a half of snow, okay, in the middle of March, right? So all of these judgments are going on, man. And a lot of people don't understand that because they don't read the scriptures, okay? But we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32 to prove the point, right? Okay, so in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32, and I'm going to start at verse 4. And it reads as follows. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment. All right. A power of truth, and without iniquity, just and right is he. Okay, so the Most High don't sin. Okay, meaning the Most High don't make mistakes, man. Right, as most people would like to say. They think that the Most High actually makes mistakes, man. Like he the one that's created everything. He created the whole world, created the whole universe and everything in the world, which is earth, by the way. Okay, and anything on and in the earth. The Most High created all things, man. But some people literally thinks that he makes mistakes, man. Your so-called agnostic atheists, okay, or non-believers of the Most High God of the Bible, right? But what it says here in verse 4, he is the rock. His work is perfect, okay, meaning flawless. For all his ways are judgment. A power, which is written here, a God, right? But God means power, of course, right? A power of truth, and without iniquity, without sin, okay, without mistakes, okay, and without iniquity, just and right is he. Verse 5. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children, all right, which is his people, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negro descent. They are a perverse and crooked generation, all right, just like today. You know, so the same things that went on back then is basically going on now, man, all right? The spirit never dies, man. The spirit is just regenerated back into another body. All right. So that's the reason why you have all of the same things that went on back then going on today. It's just a different time, a different setting, different creations. Okay. But the same exact things are going on today, man, just as back then. Right. So just like a lot of people like to say, oh, that was back in the biblical days. Right. We're still living in biblical days. All right. The biblical days aren't gone. All right. Hamashiach wasn't sent back. Okay. The sun is still rising. The moon is still coming around. All right. The 4 seasons is still coming to pass. Okay. So we're still living in the biblical days, man. Right. Verse 6. Do ye thus requite or requite the Lord, which is the Most High, O foolish people and unwise? Is not thy father that hath bought thee? Have he not made thee and established thee? Okay, so the Most High is like, haven't I created you? You know, haven't I made you and established you as a nation of people, a nation of special people, set apart people in this world? All right, as it says here again, verse 6. Do ye thus requite the Most High power, O foolish and unwise people? Is not he thy father that hath bought thee? Have he not made thee and established thee? Verse 7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he shall, or will, as it says here, shew thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee. Okay, so the Most High is like, yo, ask the generations of old. And this also validates what I was just saying. Like, you know, what went on back then is still going on now. You know, we're still living in the biblical days, man. Right? So this is why the Most High is saying this, right? Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations, ask thy father, and he will shew thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. Okay? Your elders is basically anyone that's, that's wise in these scriptures and they're of age, okay? Not just any elder, all right? There's a such thing as old fools, right? That's unwise in this world. They're still in the midst of sin and still committing sin. They have no knowledge of these scriptures or their God whatsoever, right? So there's a such thing as old fools, man, men and women. Okay, you can't follow the counsel of anyone that's older than you. All right, you got to test the spirit to see if they're of the Most High or not, man. All right, so this because someone have a hoary head, which is today called like a gray head or elderly person, doesn't mean that they're full of the right, correct wisdom, man. Okay, so you got to test the spirits. So as it says here again, right? Ask thy father, he will shew thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. Verse 8. When the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, okay, so he said the sons of Adam, all right, he didn't say the sons of Noah or the sons of Abram or Abraham, okay, he didn't say the sons of Isaac or Jacob, all right, or any other nation in the world. He said the sons of Adam, okay, which is his first creation, okay, that he breathed the breath of life into. Now, just like I said in the previous video, there was other nations of people that he've created before Adam, all right, which is in the book of Genesis, the first chapter, from verses 27 to 29, I believe. There was other nations of people that he've created besides Adam. But when he created Adam and Eve, he gave them the breath of life, meaning they was his chosen people, right? His chosen lineage of people, right? So as it says here again, when the Most High divided the nations, right? As a matter of fact, let me show and prove again, right? As it says here, this is the book of Deuteronomy 32, right? Verse 8, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel, okay? The children of Israel, meaning the Most High did everything in this world that circulated around his pivot people, man, right? Verse 9, for the Most High portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance, okay? Verse 10, he found him in a desert and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye, okay, which is speaking of Jacob and his descendants, right? Verse 11, as an eagle stirreth up her nest over her young, spreading abroad her wings, taking them, bearing them on her wings. Verse 12, so the Most High Power alone did lead him, who is to him, Jacob. And there was no strange God with him. Okay, so Jacob wasn't worshiping any other false idol gods, right? He wasn't worshiping Buddha. Okay, he wasn't worshiping Molech, okay, as it was called back in those days, right? He wasn't worshiping Chemosh, okay? All of these idol gods, man, that our people worship today, right? They're into Hinduism, okay? They're into Roman Catholicism, worshiping Virgin Mary, all right? They're in religious churchianity, worshiping the image of the beast himself. They're in all of these sororities and fraternities, worshiping different many Greco-Roman ancient gods, okay? They're into Jainism and polytheism, okay? A lot of our people are turning agnostic atheists, don't even believe in the God of the Bible at all, man, right? And our people are the most spiritual people in this world. We just don't realize that that was a gift given from the Most High himself to Jacob and his descendants, man. We are the most spiritual people in this world. It's just, unfortunately, a lot of our people aren't utilizing it in the right way. And if they do, it's towards wickedness, okay? Towards their own people. And it's actually a sin to practice witchcraft and wizardry towards your own people, man. You're not supposed to do that. You know, you're not supposed to have any enchantment and divination towards your own nation of people, man, according to the book of Leviticus, right? So that's an abomination of the Most High, okay? So as it says here again, verse 12, so the Most High power alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him, okay? So if you want the Most High to walk with you and lead you, you can't be out here worshiping strange idol gods, man. You can't be worshiping the image of the beast in religious churchianity. You can't be worshiping Virgin Mary, okay? You can't be in these secret society worshiping Lucifer and the spiritual demon Satan himself, all right? So if you're caught up in a tragedy or travesty or some sort of calamity or trial or tribulation, and you're in the midst of sin, you can't call on the Most High, man. He's not going to hear your prayers because you're in the midst of sin. You're not walking with him. You're not keeping his laws, statutes, commandments, all right? You're putting everything before him, okay? So in continuation, let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 12. Okay, we're in the book of Genesis, chapter 12, and I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, Now the Most High have said unto Abram, which is Abraham, right? Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will shew thee, verse 2. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing, verse 3. And I will bless them that bless thee. Okay, so this is speaking of Abram, which is Abraham, being in a different land that's not his. Him being a sojourner in a different land, right? So this is why the Most High says this right here. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curse thee. So the Most High is going to curse whoever is cursing you, even if it's within the nation of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent. If you're cursing anyone who's truly and sincerely seeking and following the Most High, man, the Most High is going to deal with you, man. He's going to curse you too, right? As it says this right here, again, verse 3 from the top in the book of Genesis, chapter 12. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curse thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. And in thee, which is you, Abraham, your seed lineage, shall all families of the earth be blessed, right? So let's go in continuation and follow what that seed lineage is, right? Let's go to chapter 17 in the book of Genesis, right? Because a lot of people want to get simple and say, oh, well, there's a lot of nations that came out of Abraham. You know, you got the so-called Muslims, right? You got the so-called Edomites or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people that came out of Abraham, right? You got the Elamites that came out of Abraham, right? But let's follow that lineage. Okay, let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 17 once again, starting at verse 15. And it reads, And the Most High power said unto Abram, As for Sarai, which is Sarah, right? Thy wife, which is your wife, his wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. Verse 16. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her, okay, of Sarah, all right? Not Hagar, okay, which is, she bore Ishmael to Abraham, right? Now, Ishmael is the so-called progenitor of the Ishmaelites, okay? The so-called Muslims of today. Okay, now the original Ishmaelites, of course, are melanated people. They're darker. So now the ones that you have over there in Saudi Arabia, in Yemen, in Iraq, right? All of those Muslim countries, you know, Afghanistan, Pakistan, all of the Stan nations, right? All of those guys are so-called Muslims, man. They're so-called Arabs, right? They're a mixture of people. If you look up the definition of Arab, right, it's a mixed multitude race of people. All right, so you have those people over there that's in Saudi Arabia now, in Yemen, okay, in the land of Canaan, which is now known as the Gaza Strip, or Iraq, right? All of those people are a mixed multitude of people. You have a little bit of Canaan in there. You got a little bit of Ishmael in there. And of course, you have a little bit of Esau, right? So according to the book of Genesis, the 35th and 36th chapter, you know, Esau, he took wives of Ishmael, you know, of his daughters, and created his own lineage within Ishmael. And also he took daughters of Canaan, okay, and created his own lineage of people within Canaan. And according to Ptolemy's lineage, which is of the Greco-Roman Empire that conquered the land of Egypt, that's the reason why a lot of Egyptians nowadays are very light and bright. You know, that's of the Greco-Roman Empire's lineage, all right? So you have a lot of the Egyptian people today, they're of Esau. Okay, and then you have the Saudi Arabians and the Yemens, the Yemenites over there, the Iraqis, the Afghanistanians, the Pakistanians, okay, the Palestinians, okay, which is anciently known as the Philistinians, but you know, of course, Esau changed the name to change the game, right? So your modern day Palestinians is really the Philistinians, they're Canaanites mixed with Esau and Ishmael, all right, and Egyptian. They're a mixed multitude of race. That's why they're called the Arabs, right? But this is what the Most High says again, man, right? In the book of Genesis, chapter 17, right? And the Most High Power said unto Abraham, as for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. Verse 16, and I will bless her and give thee a son also of her, okay? Not Hagar. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. All right. Let's jump down to verse 18. And Abraham said unto the Most High Power, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. So this is Abraham inquiring to the Most High, like, you know, well, I already have Ishmael born of Hagar. You know, during that time, you know, Sarah, she was barren. She couldn't have no kid. So Sarah gave her, which is her handmaid, which is an Egyptian, to me to bear Ishmael, right, which is his firstborn. So this is the reason why Abraham is asking the Most High of that, right, which he says here again in verse 18. And Abraham said unto the Most High Power, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee, right? Live before you, God, right? Ain't he's going to be the one that's going to receive all of these blessings? He's the firstborn, right? Verse 19. And the Most High Power said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. Okay, not Ishmael, Isaac. And I will establish my covenant, okay? His covenant, his ways, all right? I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him, okay? Verse 20. And as for Ishmael, okay, which is his firstborn son of Hagar, the handmaid of Sarah, right? The Egyptian, right? I have heard thee, behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. Okay, so that's what's going on today. A lot of those Saudi Arabians, you know, they was made a great nation, right? You know, they have some of the best, finest cities in the world now, you know, Dubai being one of them, okay? And they basically built a replica to the Tower of Babel, all right, which is the Khalifa over there in Dubai. That's the world's tallest building. And then after that, they're building another one that's taller than that, right? They're actually going to try to mimic the Tower of Babel. That was the whole purpose of building the Tower of Babel, to build that building as high as the heavens, right? So this is what they're doing. Okay, so that's the reason why the Most High said this about Ishmael. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee, Abraham. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. Okay, so, according to Abraham's son, Ishmael was, he blessed Ishmael and made him a great nation. But as it says here, thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. So, yeah, he blessed Ishmael and made him a prosperous, great nation, but his covenant is with Isaac. Okay. In continuation, 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, okay, which is another reiteration, right? Which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this time in the next year. Okay, so the Most High is playing with this right there, man. His covenant is with Isaac and his seed. And of course, Isaac had Jacob, and Jacob had his 12 sons, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, which is the so-called Negro, Native Americans and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent. All right. Let's go to chapter 24 in the book of Genesis. And I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Most High Power had blessed Abraham in all things. Verse 2, And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house, that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh. Verse 3, And I will make thee swear by the Most High Power, right? The God of Israel, right? The God of the Bible, the creator of all things, right? The God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites. Okay, who's the Canaanites? Those are the descendants of Ham, right? Canaan was Ham's, I believe, first son, right? Because Ham had 4 sons. He had Mizraim, Canaan, and I can't really get the third one. If you go back to Genesis 10, as a matter of fact, I'm going to give you it, right? As it says here, and the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim. And, okay, so those are the 4 sons of Noah's son Ham, all right? The one who looked upon Noah during his nakedness when he was drunken in his tent, right? So those are the 4 sons of Ham, okay? But this is what Salakia, this is what Abraham said concerning his son Isaac, right? About the Canaanites. And I will make thee swear by the Most High Power, like you're going to give this oath to me, man, to the Most High, right? The God of heaven, the power of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son Isaac of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. So when people like to say, oh, well, Abraham, he was a Canaanite, but Abraham was a sojourner of the land of Canaan. He wasn't in Canaanite through ethnicity or lineage, all right? He wasn't born of Ham. He was born of Shem, okay? So when people like to say that, they really don't understand these scriptures here, man. They really not thoroughly, diligently seeking these scriptures out, man, right? When they say things like that, like Abraham was a Canaanite. Abraham wasn't a Canaanite, man, right? And if Abraham was a Canaanite, why would he say this, right? Thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. Okay, so why would he say that if he's a Canaanite by lineage or ethnicity? That don't make no sense. That means he's disrespecting and degrading his own people. You know, he don't consider his own people a quality people if he's saying, don't take a daughter of the Canaanites to my son, right? That don't make no sense, right? In continuation, let's jump down to verse 10. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, who was his master Abraham, right? And departed from all the goods of his master, where in his hand he arose and went to Mesopotamia, onto the city of Nahor. Okay, Nahor was Abraham's brother, right? Let's jump down to verse 15. And it came to pass before he had done speaking that, behold, Rebekah came out, who was born of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor's, Abraham's brother. Okay, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother. Just like I said, right? With her pitcher upon her shoulder, right? So if you look back, right, into the women of the homeland Africa, a lot of those women over there in Ghana and Nigeria, okay, anyone that's on the west coast of Africa, right, or the south coast of Africa, not namely speaking of South Africa itself, but southern West Africa, like Zimbabwe, around those areas, right? A lot of those women, when they carry their water pitchers, is usually like on their heads or on their shoulder, okay? Now, of course, African people or melanated dark people, okay? So these are the same customs that the women were doing back then, just as they're doing now. So this also proves to you that they are our people, man. They were melanated people. You know, Abraham was a melanated man. Rebecca was a melanated man, okay? Slakia. Rebecca was a melanated woman. Isaac was a melanated man. Okay, they were dark-skinned people. They were our people. All right, because they basically practiced and did the same things as the people of the homeland, right? So it says here, right? Verse 15 again from the top. And it came to pass before he had done speaking that, behold, Rebekah came out, who was born of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. Okay, verse 16. And the damsel, okay, which is basically woman, right, was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had known any man, okay, or as it's written here, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. Okay, so that's who Rebecca was. She was a young virgin. Now, if you look up the definition of virgin, you know, of course, today's definition would say that a virgin is someone who haven't had sexual intercourse, but that's not true. That's not the sole definition of virgin. Virgin just means someone who's inexperienced. Okay, so when, you know, the term Virgin Mary comes into play, that doesn't solely mean or refer to a woman or a young girl who haven't had sexual intercourse, because you can say a young boy is virgin, right? A young boy who haven't had sexual intercourse, he could be referred to as a virgin too. So you can't solely say that virgin mainly meant a girl that haven't had sexual intercourse. It just means someone who's inexperienced, someone who haven't been, their feathers haven't been ruffled, so to speak, right? So in continuation again, verse 16 from the top. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, meaning that, you know, Rebecca was a very beautiful woman, right? She was fair to look upon. A virgin, neither had any man known her, and she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up, right? Let's jump down to verse 24. And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Melchi, which she bare unto Nahor, which is Abraham's brother, right? This is her talking to Abraham's servant. Verse 25. She said moreover unto him, we have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. Okay, so she's telling Abraham's servant that, we have enough room in our home for you to lodge in. Okay. Verse 26. And the man bowed down his head and worshiped the Most High Power. Verse 27. And he said, blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham. Okay. Blessed be the Lord God. All right. The one and only true God, the creator of all things, the God of this Bible. Okay. Blessed be the Lord, which is the Most High Power of my master Abraham, or Abram, right? Who have not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I, being in the way of the Most High Power, led me to the house of my master's brethren. Okay. So that's the lineage, man. That's how you follow the lineage, right? And according to this right here, Abraham's servant went to his people and found Rebekah. Okay. So let's get into who was born of Rebekah and Isaac. All right. We're going to go to the book of Genesis chapter 25 and start at verse 1. And it reads, then again Abraham took his wife, or took a wife as it says here, and her name was Keturah. And she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Midan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shuan. Verse 3. And Jokshan begat Sheba and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Ashurim, and Litushim, and Luminin. All right. Verse 8. And the sons of Midian, Ephah, and Epher, and Hanok, and Abidiah, and Eldah. All these were the children of Keturah. Okay. Verse 5. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. Verse 6. But unto the sons of the concubines, which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country. Okay, east of Canaan. All right, which is basically towards the land of Israel. All right. So that's what it is, man. Okay, even though Abraham had many wives and concubines, all right, which put an end to that a lot of these sisters who claim to be of the truth, who like to say that, polygyny is a sin. Well, this right here proves that your forefather Abraham had many wives other than Sarah. He had Keturah, he had Hagar, okay, which was concubines, and other wives, right? As it says here. But unto the sons of the concubines, okay, that's plural with an S. So he had many women, okay? That wasn't wrong, or that wasn't a sin in the Most High's eyes, okay? He had multiple women, man, okay? But unto the sons of the concubines, which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them a son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country. All right, so that's the lineage, man. That's how you follow it, man. Okay, let's go to chapter 26 in the book of Genesis. So in the book of Genesis, chapter 26, and I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, and there was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham, and Isaac went unto Abimelech, the king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. Verse 2. And the Most High Power appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell of thee. All right. Verse 3. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed, okay, which is the seed lineage of Isaac, all right, not Ishmael. And for unto thee and unto thy seed, I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. Verse 4. And I will make thy seed, okay, to multiply as the stars of heaven. So this right here, if you truly understand the scriptures, this, like it says, the children of Israel will be as the stars of heaven, okay, and we shall be as the sand of the sea, okay. So this is basically metaphorical for the children of Israel, right? When it says also in the scriptures that Lucifer will place himself above the stars of heaven, right? That could be taken in a literal or metaphorical sense. Like he's literally trying to place his nest within the stars of heaven, within all of these skyscrapers, that they building, like the Khalifa, and the other building that's going to be taller than that. Or they taking planes and jets up there, you know what I'm saying? They're literally trying to make their dwelling place with the stars of heaven. Or in a metaphorical sense, this could be the stars of heaven referring to the nation of Israel. All right, we are the stars of heaven, which is rest. All right, our rest was Jerusalem. That was heaven for us when we was keeping law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. All right, so in that sense, we are the stars, and Esau have placed himself and his descendants. They have placed themselves over us. Okay, they have us in captivity throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, they oppressing us and suppressing us. Right, they've placed themselves above the stars of heaven, which is the children of Israel. Right, verse 4 again from the top. And I will make thy seed to multiply, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Right, verse 5. Because that Abraham obeyed, okay, Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Okay, so that goes to show for other people who like to say, oh, well, the commandments wasn't written before Moses. Only when the Israelites was taken out of Egypt and the Most High was talking with Moses and Aaron, that's when the Most High's commandments started, right? Oh, well, according to this right here in the book of Genesis, chapter 26, as it says right here, right? Book of Genesis, chapter 26, verse 5. And it reads, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments. All right. So the commandments was always around, man. All right. It just didn't start because, the Israelites was brought out of Egypt and we had to be reminded of the commandments or given the commandments for the first time. The Most High's commandments was always around, man. This is in the book of Genesis, man. Right. Kept my charge, my commandments, and my statutes and my laws. All right. So that's plain, man. All right. There's no getting away around that. The Most High's laws, statutes, commandments was always around, man. Always around. Right. And who knows, Abraham probably was even wearing fringes back then. You know what I'm saying? Because, of course, wearing the fringes is a commandment. According to the book of Numbers, chapter 15, it says, bid the children of Israel to wear fringes, right? When you look up the definition of bid, it's command, right? You don't even have to go into the Hebrew of that. You could just go into regular old English. Just look up the definition of bid on Google, and then you will have your synonyms. It's going to have command in there, all right? So the fringes is a commandment, right? Let's jump down to verse 7. men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, she is my sister. Right? So this is what Abraham said to the place, the people of the place where he was sojourning in, right? Which is in Philistine. All right. Verse 7 again from the top. And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, she is my sister. For he feared to say, she is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place shall kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. All right. So that's how beautiful Rebekah was, man. You know what I'm saying? She was so good looking. You had the men of the other nations, they would be willing to kill Isaac just to have Rebekah, right? And again, just like I was saying before, if Abraham was a Canaanite, then of course Isaac is his son, and what's being referred to here as the other people of the land, which is the Philistines. The Philistines derived from the Canaanites. Okay. So Abraham was a Canaanite, that would make Isaac a Canaanite, and if he's in the land of the Philistines, then that would be his people, right? But why does it says this here? Verse 7 again from the top. And the men of the place, okay, it didn't say his brethren, or, his kindred. It said the men of the place, which is the Philistines, man, meaning that's a different nation of people, man, right? And the men of the place asked of him his wife, and he said, she is my sister, for he feared to say, she is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill him for Rebekah. So why would his own brethren and kindred kill him for his wife, man, right? Verse 8, and it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, the king of the Philistines, looked out the window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah, his wife. Right, so the king of the Philistines looked out the window and seen that, courting his wife. He was probably hugging up on her, kissing on her, rubbing up on her, caressing her, right? And in continuation, verse 9, and Abimelech called Isaac and said, behold, of a surety, she is thy wife, man. And how saidest thou, she is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, because I said, lest I die for her. Verse 10, but Abimelech said, what is this thou hast done to us? Right? He's like, yo, what did you do to us, man? Why did you tell us this, right? One of the people might lightly have leaned with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guilt upon us, right? So the king of the Philistines, which is Abimelech, he's telling Isaac, like, yo, you could have had us screwed up out here, right? So this goes to show that even the Philistines knew of the power and the repercussions and the judgments of the Most High God of Israel, man, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent. Even the Philistines knew, man, like, yo, we got to keep this law. According to the book of Deuteronomy and Leviticus, you can't sleep with another man's wife, nor covet another man's wife, or covet, Slakia, right? So even the Philistines know about this, right? This is why he said this here, right? And Abimelech said, what is this thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lied with thy wife, and thou saith, and thou should have brought guiltiness upon us, meaning we would have thought she was your sister, man. So if we wanted to get with her, we could have lined with her, and then we would have been at fault because you told us she was your sister, man, right? Verse 11, and Abimelech charged all his people, which is the Philistines, right, saying, he that touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death, right? So that's what Abimelech said to his people, which is the Philistines, man. He said, yo, don't even touch this dude. Like, he's a servant and the seed lineage of the Most High Power, man, the God of the Bible, the creator of all things. Don't even touch this guy. Don't even come near this guy. You know what I'm saying? And definitely don't touch his wife, right? So he put that decree out, man, as he says here again in verse 11. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, he that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death, right? So that just goes to show, man, even if you're afraid, like Isaac was, he was afraid of the Philistines. Like, man, you know, I can't tell these people that you're my wife because they will put me to death. You look so good, they will put me to death. This because